All right, welcome back. Just in case you just joined us, you're on to News Up on Silverbird Television. And the focus of our conversation still remains the election 2019. It's exactly 2 days after the election, and so much had happened after the election. We've seen results trickling in, we've seen upsets being recorded, and we've seen quite some violence also being recorded, like the Osun State incident, where the Osun State INEC office was gutted by fire, a collation center was gutted by fire, and a few of that. Before we went on break, our friend in the house, Omoshola Deji, was talking about who should be held responsible for political thuggery in Nigeria. And while we went on break also, Alistair Wilcox also joined us in the studio. Wilcox, welcome to News Up.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here again.
I will still want to stay with you, Mashallah. I want to believe you have not landed your thought pattern before we went on that break. So, for me, I want to say, yes, we have laid the blame on the pathways of politicians, and I think I kind of share your position on that. But the question is, so what do the Nigerian citizens do to upset this level of godfatherism in our political space?
Well, what Nigerians citizens need to do is simple but a bit difficult for them. If Nigerian citizens can be determined to speak with their vote, there's a Yoruba adage that says it's better to stay hungry today than to stay hungry forever. So if the citizens are determined to cast their vote for the right people, and naturally as a country, we cannot run this kind of expensive, political system. Money is power. When people have so much money at their disposal, you are giving them some kind of soft power over the people. A country that is finding it difficult to pay 30,000, as senators, House of Rep, governors have so many special advisors. We have all these appointments that are not based on merit but compensation. All these things has effect. Then we need to strengthen our laws and just make it effective, most especially against the political lords. If you make politics less attractive and the laws are functioning, most of these politicians and members of their inner circle are the ones that empower these people to manipulate the electoral process. A thug will not just wake up early in the morning. You didn't give him anything, you didn't have any meeting with him, you've not promised him any position. He will just wake up and say the next thing is to go and snatch a ballot box. What does he have to gain? He is doing it because he has something to gain. And if you narrow it down, because his political godfather is hoping to benefit from it. So all those ballot box snatching are not for free. It is for political gain. So if we can make politics less like that and make our laws count, definitely we will have a change in this kind of political system that we have, which really is not functioning. If you have a democracy and a particular party or
Let me
candidate.
pause you a bit, please, Omoshola, and let's listen to our correspondent who is in Rivers State, Rachel Ramsden, actually reporting from the Bonny Kingdom. Good morning, Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And please tell us how far with the elections in Bonny. What has INEC said concerning Bonny? And bring us up to speed, please.
Okay. Earlier, I did a call interview to the INEC voters head of education and publicity, Mr. Enabo, and he said the commission hasn't fixed the date yet for the cancelled election in Bonny. So I still visited the INEC office in Bonny, but the place is still secured with security personnel. I mean, you see the presence of the civil defense, the presence of the army, the presence of the police, and Navy as well around the area. And normally people don't really drive fast. You have to slow if you're in a vehicle. If you're on a bike, you have to come down from the bike and walk, and people have to raise their hands and walk past. So that's the situation in Bonny local government area.
So by all indications, no election still at Bonny Kingdom.
I didn't get that. Could you say that again?
I said by all indications, no election still at Bonny Kingdom.
Yes, there are no elections still in Bonny Kingdom.
So what are the electorates saying about this? What's the mood swing, or what is the mood of people who reside in the Bonny Kingdom?
Okay, I spoke to a couple of them, and like before, they said they are disappointed that earlier, about 2 weeks ago, it was postponed by INEC, that now they are disappointed in INEC, but now they are disappointed in themselves because in the history of Bonny people are not violent. They don't act this way, but they are surprised why some people will just come together and just halt the process because of some allegations of fake result sheets, not genuine result sheets. That how can people identify the genuine result sheets and the fake one? But they don't think, some of them said they don't think when they go back to the location, they're not going to come back to Bonny for the election whenever it's fixed, because they have businesses to attend to, they have schools to attend to as well. So that's all their reactions to me when I had to talk to them.
So, Rachel, you've been able to clarify whether the result sheets were fake or authentic. Have you been able to clarify that?
The result sheet is just as the one INEC has all over the state. But I tried speaking to this particular set of people that are alleging that this result sheets are fake. How did you identify that the result sheets are fake? They said earlier, how would the result sheets be fake? Earlier that the EO was with some PDP stakeholders in the local government lodge. What was he doing there? He was supposed to be in the INEC office. What was he doing there? So they just felt that for the fact that he has spent a lot of hours with the PDP stakeholders, that the EO has been compromised. They say they don't have confidence in the EO. So that's why the uproar and everything, that's why they had to stand and say for that reason, these result sheets are fake.
All right, Rachel, is there something else you want to add before we let you go?
Okay, I'm still in Bonny as it stands, and it's not a good one because I had to go to people, to the residents to ask them, and even by the time I like, please go, we don't try to talk, Wait till again. We talk for fulfillment, we talk for this one. No, please leave us. So they are really disappointed, and they're like, media, you guys need to do more. I'm doing more. So that's all I can say from now.
Rachel, thank you so very much for your time. Still stay on the matter, and whatever you can bring us, we would appreciate. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Wilkos, that's your constituency.
Yes. Sad that, like you said, the Bonny people are not known for violence. There has never been any electoral violence in Rivers and Bonny. Rivers State, yes, it's a very terrible place in terms of electioneering. We've not gotten it right there. The level of violence, the level of voters rigging and all whatnot, it's very massive in Rivers State. But it hasn't occurred in Bonny before. So what could have triggered this sincerely needs to be investigated and got into the, because Bonny people are not violent people. They're very peaceful, peace-loving people, calm, friendly, brotherly. They don't get at each other's throats. You've never heard of communal clashes in Bonny. I don't think it has ever happened since my adult life or whatever, since I come from Bonny. So it's sad. But again, the Bonny people should not be disenfranchised from being part of this process. Whatever thing it takes for INEC to assuage the nerves and to reinsure confidence and to go ahead and to conduct the elections so that no matter, even if it is 1,000 votes that is going to come out of it, the Bonny people, the local government should not be disenfranchised from having a say in who becomes the president of Nigeria in the next 4 years. So it's unfortunate. Rivers State as a whole. I mean, why we dwell only on Bonny? I mean, I saw so what happened in Abonima. Abonima, yes, I could understand. It's one of the hotbed in politics in Rivers State, the Calabari axis. It's always one of the hotbed. Yeah, after Calabari, you look at the Ahoda axis, but not Bonny. So I don't know. It's sad for me. Again, it also means that it can also mean that people are becoming politically vigilant. You know, if the accusation is that there were fake result sheets, that also means that the people are becoming vigilant as to taking up their electoral rights. And before now in Rivers State, it has always been like a one-party state. But 2015, the narrative changed. So there's now a kind of contest, real contest for political power in Rivers State. And so if there is that allegation that there were fake ballot, fake result sheet, and that the EO was found in the local government chairman's lodge or something, then that means there's some level of compromise that which some people are resisting. Yeah, it also is a good sign, but sincerely, it could be addressed peacefully, not in any way violent, because Bonny people are not known to be violent people.
Omoshola, you heard what our correspondent in Bonny said, and there is no smoke without fire. For the Bonny people to think that there was already some result sheets, is it out of place for them to be paranoid?
Well, it is not out of place because it is their birthright for them to be able to vote and for their vote to count. A situation whereby we have this manipulation of the process is really not a good thing, and we cannot disenfranchise some people, even if they are just 50 in a community. We cannot afford to create this disaffection. So many people contest despite the fact that they know they are not going to win. I believe as a contestant, when you are contesting on some platform, you already know whether you can win or not. But what gives them satisfaction is the ability to participate in the process. And what can really make them glad is seeing that the contest is free and fair. So also for people that want to vote. How will you convince a die-hard Buhari or Atiku supporter that, hey, it is not this your one vote that will make your candidate to win? Then if you look at the winning margin of elections before this presidential and national assembly election, the winning margin has always been low. Look at Osun, look at Ekiti. So if you now disenfranchise some people who says that those people that you disenfranchise, their vote cannot be the winning margin. And I would have expected INEC to have marks under 24 hours, conduct elections in places where there are issues, so that the result can come in good time. INEC should not think that probably if the winning margin in this presidential election is a bit wide, then they will now come under the argument that based on this winning margin, even if everybody in this particular region vote for this person that lost the election, it will make any difference. That would be an illogical argument for INEC to play, because I am suspecting that else by now the election was conducted on Saturday. Today is a Monday. Definitely INEC should have conducted that election in those places like Okota, Bonny, some places in Bayelsa. Yes. Do not, you cannot disenfranchise these people. It is their right. Let them vote. Well, even if it is 500 people, even if the result coming out from that place will not count, don't make them feel less Nigerian than others. If people in IDP camps can be voting, what will you now tell some? And the implication of this is, if you look at majority of the places where there are this crisis, now these are the argument that will lead to this election tribunal at the end of the day, because majority of the places where we have these troubles are
strongholds of a
are
particular
strongholds
party.
of a particular political party. Look at the one in Okota. These are places whereby the Igbos are largely populated,
Resident,
and Igbos are reportedly, Igbos reportedly have sentiment towards a particular political party. The South, they have a particular, they have sentiment to a particular political party. So if this situation is happening in the strongholds of a particular political party, then we are preparing grounds for that particular party, if they eventually lose, not to accept the result, even if the margin is wide.
Okay, Deji, let's stop you there. Let's look at the election was marred by violence, pocket of violence, which we all agreed to. We just saw MKO in Ikeja constituency at Collation Center disrupting we saw it has now moved away from the election day now to collation centers.
Yes.
How disturbing could this be?
Yeah, well, see, very disturbing. If MKO will go and disrupt Collation Center, that means he has the promotion that he was already losing the election. Because only somebody that is losing that will go and disrupt collation. Now, at the polling units, people who think their area, just like my brother just said, people who think that the area where they have dominance, they can always, the other rival party can go there to create chaos so that the election is not held, okay, or there is no result, okay. So, but when it has to get to the collation center, that means somebody who has seen results from polling units and see that it's not favoring him can mobilize. And that is where I don't know the level of security, how somebody could have access to collation center easily. Yeah. Because really and truly, yesterday we were here, we saw the security checks to get into the National Collation Center in Abuja. In fact, the checks were really, in fact, the tag is different, totally different from the one that they give to everybody. So it is a restricted area. And I think that collation centers should receive such high level security. Now, this idea of using school building, public school buildings, some town halls as collation center, I think because of what's happened, I think we should have dissuaded that. Now, you see, there are no area in this Nigeria where you don't have some 2-star, 3-star hotels that INEC could rent for that day or 2 days and use their hall and then their security apparatus to safeguard those environments so that you have layers of security defenses. Because it's just whereby somebody can just walk in and then just disrupt at collation. Now, if you talk about at the polling unit, yes, it's an open place. It's an open place. We already talked about armed or unarmed security yesterday. It's an open place where people just pass. It may be a road. So if people go there, yes, you can say, okay, there could be that. But we have to enter into a collation center. So we still need a lot to do. And then again, we are talking about who's to be blamed as far as security is concerned in election. I think truly and truly, the bad aspect of our politicians is the fact that they only think about elections, winning elections. They're not thinking about strengthening the institution, the political system. Now, every 4 years, you see so much activity, movement, realignment, decampment, and all that, all just to prepare and win an election, even if rightly or wrongly. Now, people are not thinking of how to build the institutions. Now, because if you're thinking of how to build the political culture and institution, it will be a cross-party approach. It's not just a party in power. It's going to be a cross-party approach. Look, we are all politicians. We need to strengthen, because today it could be my turn, tomorrow it could be your turn. So if we don't work together to strengthen the institutions, to strengthen the political system, now for us to eliminate thuggery, because if today I use the thug against you and I succeed, tomorrow you too can use that thug against me or against my children, against my party, anything. So there must be that cross-party approach in curbing electoral violence, so that at whatever turn it is, you just know that, look, we are safeguarding the system. You're not safeguarding for yourself because politicians, all their own is, let me win election. by hook or crook, let me just win an election. And that is why there is so much monetization. We have talked about vote buying. Press has chatted on it. INEC has talked of it. Police has talked of it. But surprisingly, even in this election, report that came to me is that people were openly buying votes in Ogun State, Abeokuta to be precise, where I got first-hand information and report. Openly buying votes. So Nigerians are never, look, except there's this cross-party approach to issues and say, look, gentlemen, we must stop this thing by ourselves. They signed peace accord of what is part of the peace accord. I'm sure they signed at the national, they signed in various states, at various states.
Level,
yeah, they've signed peace accord at various states. So then when after signing peace accord, you are still creating, you are still grooming thugs. After signing peace accord, you are still keeping money to go and buy votes.
Maybe they had groomed themselves before signing the peace accord.
Then when you sign the peace accord, then you demobilize whatever machinery that you've put in place. And then what of the funds that you have made available to go and buy votes at the polling unit? Well, that has been talked about ever since. And a party will accuse B party. B party will accuse A party. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, the two A and B party are doing it.
Right.
So it is for us.
You referred to maybe INEC should have used maybe a hotel for the collation center, but people might argue with you saying that hotels could also be used as a place where some ills are perpetrated. It has to be in the open, let people know that their votes really count.
No, what I mean,
we're talking about collation centers. Somewhere in Omoshola North yesterday, the returning officer had to relocate because there were some rumors that thugs were going to invade the place. Also yesterday, early hours of yesterday, 3 a.m., if I'm not mistaken, in Osun State, Oriade local government area, the INEC office was part of the INEC office was burnt down, and the reports from the INEC, you know, the person there said that is just the police rather, that it was just a minor incident, you know, just some maybe hoodlums trying to be very nasty. Talking about the collation, if Omoshola could relocate, what is the threat facing these states or local government areas or capital cities that are yet to, you know, collate all those results to the INEC? For
goodness sake, why has even collation not done up to now? In local government, and still at local government level. You see, this inefficiency that we have in the system, for me, it drives me nuts. Yesterday, by the time we were here yesterday, we understand that a whole state, Ekiti, was ready, and ready in Abuja. And we are talking about Ogbomoso, 2 local government, north and south. Maybe the other one is Surulere or be a really local government just around that area. So I think when you want to manipulate, then they create more bottlenecks. Because I do not understand why a whole state Ekiti will have been ready, and then a local government in Oyo State is not ready, and then you are now start relocating.
And that's yes.
You see, when you start relocating, then you are creating rooms, because if you are a local government collation officer or center, you are going to receive nothing less than, if I don't know how many wards the local government has, at least 10 or 12 wards. Minimum is 10 wards. Some is 12, 15 wards. So you have to go to, so if you relocate, are you going to relocate with all the 15 ward collation officers? If you relocate, are you going to relocate with all the papers? So which people are you going to relocate with?
But that's what happened in
so that is where there's a problem. Then that's where there's open for manipulation. I don't care which party it
So even if they had a report that thugs are going to invade...
Now, if you relocate, are you looking to go and continue the collation somewhere? Now, who are you going to collate with? Because if you want to in collation, you come with the entire world collation officers. They come in with their report and give you their report at that level. And then your own is just to, okay, ward A, ward B, ward C, ward D. This is the ward result. You put it in. What does it take to collect at the local government, if not just to collect what the wards have done?
Okay, just hold your thoughts there 1 minute. We have on the line our correspondent from Ekiti State, Oyetunji Ojo. Oyetunji, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, David.
So tell us, what's the situation like in Ekiti State at the moment?
At the moment, residents are out already doing their businesses, and it seems they've moved away from the election into the presidential election and the National Assembly election into the House of Representatives and Senate over the weekend. Businesses have started, residents are moving around, and we could see some private schools, pupils and the students trying to get back to school.
If I quite got what you said, but if you refer to the security, please could you talk to us how the security presence is like in Ekiti State?
The security presence is like Thursday, since last week Thursday, has been very good. And over the weekend during the elections on Saturday, there was no security situation at all. There was a total compliance with the non-regular movement order by this security agency, especially the one from the police. Yesterday I told you I met the Commissioner of Police for the state at Kwambwa. He was on ground in the other sister agency, and there has been no report of any breakdown of law and order so far.
How are the people of the state taking the results from their constituencies? Are they excited at what the results are showing as regards the National Assembly and senatorial elections?
I can't hear you clearly, but I think something like how are they reacting to the results, right?
Hello, Yetunji, I didn't get you.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. The question is, how are the people reacting to the results of the National Assembly and senatorial representatives and elections, House of Reps elections results? How are they reacting to it?
We could see residents clustered around some popular places like newspaper stands, motor parks, discussing the result of the election. And it seems it's like an unanimous decision here that the All Progressive Congress won all the seats available, including the presidential, the 3 senatorial districts, the 6 House of Representatives seats, all won by the All Progressive Congress. And it seems residents of the state are enjoying the moment. And the takeaway from the result is that there are some places we notice that over time it has been opposition struggle. But this time around it was all clear for the All Progressive Congress. And they are discussing it, no much of incidences, but I think they are enjoying the results. And they enjoy the outcome of the results.
All right. Thank you so much, Oyetunji Ojo.
Before
we let you go,
yes. The opposition party, we are aware that the likes of Lujimi are at loss. Have you been able to reach them? How are they taking these results?
Particularly, we interviewed Senator Lujimi towards the end of the election, but we'll be trying to get back to her, but it has not been reachable. She told us during the election that she's very confident that because of her track record as a former House of Representative member and also who has served in the Senate very closely, but it came as a shock to some that a senator of that caliber could just lose easily. But we could look at it the other way around. Our main opponent, the eventual winner, Prince Dayo Adeyeye, was formerly in the PDP with Senator Olujimi. They both contested the governorship election last year, that's the governorship election primary last year, with Senator Olujimi stepped down at the time for Prince Dayo Adeyeye. But eventually, the candidate of the former governor then, Dayo Fauci, that's Professor Olushola Kolapo, the deputy governor, won that ticket. And after that, Prince Dayo Adeyeye moved into the APC. And it was like a race of a brother against his sister. But eventually, the APC won. And we are still trying to get the reaction of Senator Olujimi, if there will be anything after this or not. And the other, it's not only Senator Olujimi, also Ekiti North Senatorial District. The serving senator, Senator Duro Fashegi, also lost. He lost to a former senator, one-time Senator Adetunji. And according to the results, both of them lost in their hometown, but they won from outside their hometown. That's the one within the local government ran, but they lost their hometown. And also, out of the 6 House of Representative seats in Ekiti, 4 serving rep members contested and they lost. the four that contested, they lost. They were all on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Okay. They all lost to their opponents from our Progressive Congress.
All right, Yetunji, thank you so very much for your time. We appreciate this. Thank you so much for your time.
The winners and the losers in Ekiti State. The narrative's changing.
Yes,
exactly.
It's not uncommon in Ekiti what happened. It's not uncommon. Also, you should know that when the PDP held sway at Government House Ekiti, when Fayose held sway, of course, it was a clean sweep for the PDP in 2015. You know, it shows its prowess as far as it's concerned politically with the grassroots and all whatnot. But of course, the narrative changed last year when the PDP was swept out of Government House in Ekiti, and then the APC took over. So it's also it's not too surprising that and look at these politicians; they are all maybe seem to romancing themselves together. The person that won this woman at what's her name, Olujimi, was also an ally before now. So they all do themselves what they do. But really and truly, Ekiti has been in the progressive camp ever since. So coming back to become the APC sweeping Ekiti is not strange. It's not something strange and surprising. I know it could happen.
Okay, let me take you now back to what graced the front pages of today's dailies. Okay. Bukola Saraki not being re-elected
yes.
by his people. What does that tell you?
Bukola Saraki will have seen it coming. The groundswell of opposition against Bukola Saraki was very massive. It was like, and then he was busy running the campaign of the PDP, rather than the president campaign as the DG, rather than really sitting down home to fight for his political future. Because you see, the popular saying in Kwara now is Otoge, meaning that the Saraki dynasty has controlled the political life of Kwara for too long. Remember, this started right in the Second Republic, when the senior Bukola Saraki held sway, the father, held sway, senate leader, and all whatnot. So every dispensation, the Saraki family has dominated. And so you are now seeing a new set of voters, a new new citizens of Kwara, who the senior Saraki did not influence. And so they just felt that, look, enough, your father has ruled us, you have also ruled us, so enough, let us change the narrative. So it's not uncommon. It's a massive blow. But one could not have expected that the sitting Senate president.
Maybe he wasn't interested in the first place anyway.
No, he was. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have picked up. Yes, because remember, he picked up the PDP. No, he picked up the PDP president nomination and picked up the senatorial at the same time. So most of them, even the governor of Sokoto,
so much money.
Even that of Kwakwan, so they all picked up two nomination forms. So when one failed, they brought out the second one from under the table and continued the race. So I think he will have, and then again, the kind of activities, the kind of position he took in the Senate, while Senate president, so that will have not also sit well with the people. So I think I wish him well if he can bounce back from anywhere.
The final words for me.
Well, I want to add to what my brother here said. In terms of using hotel for collations, the reason why INEC can't dare try to use hotel is because even the owner of those hotels might be partisan, and the public, even if they are not partisan, the public or the party that lost will link them to one political party or the other. So in such instances, what the electoral umpire must use are the public facilities, whereby it is not a single person that owns it. If it is a government school, it's for the public. So they try to use public facilities, not facilities owned and controlled by an individual. So for our political development, we need to make sure that electoral offenses do not go unpunished. When you know that there's a consequence for action, for example, in the paper, we have 128 arrested for electoral offenses. These guys that have committed these offenses will just be locked up for maybe a week, and at the end of the day, these political gladiators will go and set them free. So because people are not facing the consequence of action, it is a means of encouraging people that during next election, you can as well snatch the ballot box, kill people, and at the end of the day, you would eventually walk free on the street, which is not a good development for our democracy.
All right, thank you most kindly, Omoshola Deji, a political scientist, as well as Alistair Wilcox, a public affairs.
It's my utmost pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I wish Nigeria well.
Yeah, we wish our country well. It's the only country
we
we have.
country
Or do you
well.
have two countries?
No, just one. Just one green, white, green passport I have.
All right, thank you
so
so
I wish
much.
the country well.
All right. So Nigerian votes will continue 11 a.m. today when the 2019 general elections National Collation Center for the presidential and National Assembly elections resumes for the announcement of the results. So join us again at 11 a.m. Shortly after Today on STV. Meanwhile, Today on STV is next, and Sports Cafe 10:30. Please stay with us. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.
Bye for now.
You say something, you say no.